P1, mate. P1. Absolutely fantastic the whole weekend.
Yeah, beautiful weekend. Well done, everyone. Incredible result. Wonderful car. Thanks for the hard work. Keep it up. We need to keep it up. Thank you, guys.
Lewis Hamilton delivered his best qualifying result since joining Ferrari third on the grid, perfectly poised for his first podium in red. 6 laps later, it all exploded. A collision with Max Verstappen, a trip through the grass, and a 10-second penalty that shocked the paddock. That penalty wasn't just harsh, it changed everything. From the moment the penalty was confirmed, Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari entered a different kind of race, not one of pure speed, but one of strategy, precision, and emotional control. The radio communication that followed was calm, almost eerily so. Riccardo Adami's voice came through first. "Okay, Lewis, we'll serve the penalty on the first stop. Let's focus on tire management and brake temps." Hamilton's reply was immediate, composed, and professional. "Understood. Just keep me updated on gaps and deltas. We're still in this." It was the sound of a driver shifting from attack mode to calculation mode, turning chaos into method. The Ferrari SF25 had been temperamental all season, fast on Saturdays, unpredictable on Sundays. But in Mexico, Hamilton made it behave. His telemetry showed something remarkable. Despite carrying extra weight from the full fuel load and degraded tires, he maintained consistent lap times within a tenth. Every input was smooth, every correction subtle. He wasn't just driving, he was managing a complex equation: brake temperature, tire wear, fuel mix, airflow density, all in his head, all in real time. This is the level where Hamilton operates, where instinct meets engineering. By lap 22, Ferrari's pit wall had adjusted their entire race model around him. The initial 2-stop plan was abandoned. Now the goal was simple: stretch the first stint as long as possible, create space, then pit for mediums, serve the 10-second penalty, and unleash. It required discipline and trust. For Hamilton, trust has always been conditional. After years of perfectionism at Mercedes, he demands data, not faith. Yet in that moment, he trusted his new team completely. "Tell me what you need me to do," he said. It wasn't surrender. It was partnership. And that more than anything showed how far he'd come since his first day in red. When he finally boxed, the stop itself was flawless. 2.3 seconds for the tire change, and then the longest 10 seconds of his weekend. Inside the cockpit, the world seemed to stop. The engine hummed at idle. The red light on the gantry flickered in front of him. The camera captured his eyes through the visor, unblinking, steady, waiting. There was no anger left, just focus. Then, as the signal turned green, Hamilton dropped the clutch and tore out of the pit lane like a bullet. He rejoined in 14th place, buried in traffic, but the chase had begun. What followed was a masterclass in mechanical empathy. The SF25 is notoriously sensitive in dirty air. The rear loses stability, the front slides under pressure. But Hamilton's control was surgical. He didn't force overtakes, he engineered them. Lap by lap, he studied the cars ahead, waiting for weaknesses. Bottas on lap 28 overtaken cleanly on the brakes into turn 1. Piastri 3 laps later caught sleeping through the stadium section. Russell on lap 33 a calculated move out of the final corner, using DRS with millimetric timing. Each pass was clean, deliberate, and perfectly executed. Watching it felt like a live lesson in Rassecraft. And behind all of it was the dialogue, the quiet, coded language between driver and engineer. "How are the fronts?" asked Adami. "Still strong," Hamilton replied. "Rear temp stable. I can push a bit more." It's in exchanges like these that Hamilton's true genius shines. He doesn't just drive the car, he diagnoses it, feels it, speaks its language. Ferrari's data team later confirmed that his feedback was within 1% accuracy of the sensor readings. That's not luck. That's mastery. By lap 40, he had neutralized the penalty's damage. His sector times were among the fastest on track, even matching Leclerc's pace. And remember, this was in a car that had just served 10 seconds standing still. The combination of composure, adaptability, and relentless pace transformed what could have been a bitter race into a showcase of Hamilton's craft. As one engineer said afterward, "We lost time, but we found something far more important: belief." Hamilton's driving that day was more than just recovery, it was revelation. It showed that even in a Ferrari still searching for perfection, he could extract excellence. That's what separates him from the rest. He doesn't need the best machinery, he just needs a challenge. The sanction tested his patience, the car tested his precision, and both tests ended the same way, with Hamilton proving he's still the benchmark. When the team radioed at the end of that stint Lewis, "Pace is great, we're back in the points window," his reply came with quiet conviction. "Told you we're still in this." It wasn't arrogance, it was assurance. The tone of a man who's lived through every kind of chaos the sport can throw, and still comes out driving like it's his first love. From the very first practice session, it was clear that Hamilton had tapped into something special. The SF-25 wasn't the fastest car on the grid, but it was responsive in his hands, predictable in a way it hadn't been all season. On Friday evening, he stayed late in the garage, poring over telemetry with his engineers, discussing brake balance and downforce settings. "We've got something here," he said over the team radio. It wasn't arrogance. It was instinct, that same unshakable intuition that's guided him to 7 world titles. The look in his eyes that night was one fans had seen before: calm confidence before chaos. Qualifying on Saturday confirmed what his body language had already hinted at. On his final flying lap, Hamilton danced through the high-speed S's with surgical precision, threading the needle between aggression and grace. When he crossed the line, the Ferrari pit wall erupted. Third on the grid, less than 4/10 off Lando Norris'S pole, time his best qualifying result since joining Ferrari. As he stepped out of the car, the Mexican crowd roared. They know legends when they see them. Hamilton smiled faintly, acknowledging the cheers, but keeping his emotions contained. For him, it wasn't about nostalgia or legacy. It was about execution. Inside the Ferrari garage, the energy was electric. Mechanics clapped shoulders. Engineers exchanged quiet smiles, not a celebration, but of belief. This was what they had been building toward, a Ferrari capable of fighting again. And at the heart of it stood a man who knows how to carry a team's hope without letting it crush him. Hamilton had told his race engineer the night before, "If we survive the first corner, I'll bring it home." It wasn't a threat, it was a promise. That quiet confidence, that calm certainty, spread through the team like oxygen. Everyone believed again. The drama began on lap 6. The tension in the air was already palpable. Verstappen was closing, the DRS open, the slipstream long and dangerous on Mexico's endless main straight. Hamilton, in third place, defended the inside line cleanly. His movements were textbook, measured, and entirely within the regulations. But Verstappen saw a gap where there was none, dived deep from too far back, and the inevitable happened. The Red Bull's front wing clipped Hamilton's left front tire. Both cars bounced off the curb, momentarily airborne, and when they landed, it was Hamilton who kept control. That moment alone was a display of genius. Most drivers would have spun. He didn't. He caught the slide, straightened the Ferrari, and avoided what could have been a multi-car collision. As he rejoined the track, the Ferrari SF-25 skated across the dirty runoff, kicking up dust and grass. The onboard footage showed a man fighting physics hands calm, steering smooth, eyes locked forward. He wasn't trying to gain time. He was trying to stay alive. The tires were coated in debris, the car unsettled, and the engine momentarily stuttered as the electronics compensated for the off-track excursion. Yet somehow Hamilton managed to blend back into the racing line without losing control or hitting anyone. It was survival driving at its purest, instinct meeting mastery in a split second. But almost immediately, the stewards opened an investigation. Car 44 incident at turn 1, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. The message flashed across the screens, and the Ferrari garage went silent. The irony was heavy. He had been pushed off, forced wide, yet now stood accused of benefiting from it. Riccardo Adami, his race engineer, broke the news to him as calmly as he could. Hamilton's response came sharp but contained. "I was hit off. I didn't gain anything. What did they want me to do? Vanish into thin air?" There was no anger, just disbelief. A racer's logic clashing with bureaucracy. 9 laps later, the verdict came. 10 seconds. "That's a joke," Hamilton said quietly. His tone wasn't bitter, it was weary. 20 years in Formula One, and still, moments like this had a way of stinging. But then came the pause, the deep breath, the reset. His next words were pure professionalism. Copy that. Let's get on with it. That, more than any podium, is what defines Lewis Hamilton: the ability to process injustice, accept it, and turn it into fuel. While the media and fans debated the fairness of the call, Hamilton was already calculating. He knew what 10 seconds meant. It would kill his early strategy, force Ferrari to adapt on the fly, and turn a podium chase into a comeback marathon. Yet he didn't panic. His lap time stayed within 3/10 of his pre-penalty pace. He adjusted his racing line to protect the tires, knowing he'd need every ounce of grip later. The telemetry told the story of a man driving with surgical precision, no wasted motion, no anger in the throttle, just purpose. And here lies the difference between the good and the great. The good react emotionally, the great adapt rationally. Hamilton's driving didn't deteriorate after the penalty, it elevated. Each lap became an act of defiance, each braking zone a reminder that no steward's ruling could strip him of control. While others argued in the paddock, Hamilton stayed silent, letting the car speak. Because for him, racing has always been about more than rules or penalties. It's about grace under pressure, about maintaining dignity when the sport forgets to offer it in return.